Greetings, Afro gold, light beings, and rising stars. Welcome to Black CEED University. I'm sending you well wishes by the might of supreme love and thanking you for being here today. Praying that it is well with your soul, regardless of the circumstances. Today, I bring you an inspiring read reminding us that any leadership that teaches you to depend on another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Our collective poverty mindset ends today. After hearing this article, no man or woman who does not know how to read or write shall go on this day in such a state, because it will be all of our responsibilities to ensure the upliftment and rising of our sisters and brothers. Once upon a time in history, the essence of this article was true. But my intention is to shine a light on where we're coming from and how far we've come and how much further we have to go. So to the article entitled, Most Black People Don't Read, revised from Pride Magazine, November 26, 2006. The sad thing about this article is, the essence of it is true. The truth hurts. I just hope this sets more Black people in motion towards making real progress. For those of you who heard it, this is the article D. Lee was reading this morning on a New York radio station. For those of you who didn't hear it, this is very deep. This is a heavy piece written by a Caucasian person. D. Lee, CFP, Harvard financial educators. Black people are still our slaves. We can continue to reap profits from the blacks without the effort of physical slavery. Look at the current methods of containment that they use on themselves. Ignorance, greed, and selfishness. Their ignorance is the primary weapon of containment. A great man once said, "The best place to hide some things from Black people is put it in books." We now live in the information age. They have gained the opportunity to read any book on any subject through the effort of their fight for freedom. Yet, they refuse to read. There are numerous books readily available at Chapters, libraries, and Indigo, not to mention their own Black bookstores, that provide solid blueprints to reach economic prosperity and equality, which should have been their fight all along. But few read consistently, if at all. Greed is another powerful weapon of containment. Blacks, since the abolition of slavery, have had large amounts of money at their disposal. Last year, they spent $10 billion during Christmas out of their $450 billion in total yearly income. Any of us can use them as our target market for any business venture we care to dream up. They will buy into it. Being primarily a consumer people, they function totally by greed. They continually want more, with little thought for saving or investing. They would rather buy some new running shoes rather than invest in starting a business or get higher education. Some even encourage their children to have the latest Tommy, Nike, or Fubu. Many of them believe a Mercedes-Benz and a big house gives them status, or that they have achieved their dream. They are fools. The vast majority of their people are still in poverty because their greed holds them back from collectively making better communities. With the help of BET and the rest of their Black media that often broadcast destructive images into their homes, we will continue to reap huge profits like those of Nike and Tommy. Tommy Hilfiger has even jeered them, saying he doesn't want their money. And look at how the fools spend more with him than ever before. They'll continue to show off on each other while we, successful whites, Chinese and Indians, and Jews, build solid communities with the profits made off them. Selfishness, ingrained in their minds through slavery, is one of the major ways we can continue to contain them. One of their own scholars, W.E.B. Du Bois, said that there was a genetic division in their culture, a talented tenth, he called it. He was correct in his deduction that there are segments of their culture that has derived from some form of success. However, that segment missed the fullness of his work. They didn't read that the talented 10th was then responsible to aid the non-talented 90% in achieving a better life. Instead, that segment has created another class, a pariah class that looks down on their people, exploits them, or aid them in a condescending manner. They will never achieve what we have. Their selfishness does not allow them to be able to work together on any project or endeavor of substance. When they do get together, their selfishness lets their egos get in the way of their goal. Their so-called help organizations and churches seem to only want to promote their name without making any real changes in their communities. They are content to sit in conferences and conventions in our hotels and talk about what they will do, while they award plaques to the best speakers, not to the best doers. Is there no end to their selfishness? They steadfastly refuse to see that together, each achieves more, the acronym for TEAM. Together, each achieves more. They do not understand that they are no better than each other because of what they own. As a matter of fact, most of these pariahs are but 1 or 2 paychecks away from poverty, all of which is under the control of our pens in our offices and homes. Yes, we will continue to contain them as long as they refuse to read, continue to buy anything they want, don't invest, and keep thinking they are helping their communities by paying dues to the organizations which do little other than hold lavish conventions in our hotels. In fact, the only progressive thing they have going for them is doing hairstyles and building more churches, which was given to them by us for social containment and afterlife successes. Instead of using most of the tithes and offerings they receive from the already poor to sponsor students into universities and colleges, build industries which will eventually better their communities, they constantly use the money for building more walls instead of building more minds. In sum, the more they work against each other, kill each other, use drugs, open barbershops and hair salons, create destructive music, increase the amount of baby mamas, shop, 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 and buy more of our cars, the more our educated class of lawyers, doctors, gun manufacturers, managers, CEOs, pastors, and many more of our professionals will become richer. It's like a natural order. We advance intellectually and economically off their own economic demise. Such pathetic bunch of fools. By the way, don't worry about most of them reading this letter. Remember, the majority don't read. So we've come to the end of the article. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that for anybody who has felt triggered, my guide for you is to not feel triggered but to feel inspired. And my thoughts on this article are the following. Let's be honest, every single one of us has been brainwashed in one way or another, and some of us more than others. But there are those that have remembered their purpose and have managed to inspire us in one way or another. From Pan-Africanists to musicians to the Rasta movement. Regardless of religion or creed, one thing you cannot change is your skin and your DNA. If we look around the world today, we can see that there is a great imbalance. Balance needs to be restored between the divine feminine and masculine energies, as well as the arena of racial control. Through my journey in life, I've come to realize that there are people from every culture that grew up wishing they were white because they've been so inundated with the idea that they are not good enough and being white is somehow better. Although I'm sure it's out there, I've never heard a white person who wishes they were any other race. So ultimately, what we're facing here is the need for equality, the need to dissolve indoctrination and become free thinkers. Afro Gold Light Beings, I want to remind you that you do have the power to see yourself in a light equal to all men. There will be a time when our children are not comparing themselves to others because they will feel whole about themselves. Africa and some parts of the West Indies are the only countries in the world that do not primarily govern themselves. And obviously we know the main race of people that live there. Although I'm pro-love for all and equality for all, it is evident that until one governs and defines themselves, there is likely to be misery and discontentment. Until Africa is free to willfully and intentionally run its own affairs fully and go on her own thinking according to what works best for her, and stand together as a state of unity at home and abroad, the world and its inhabitants will not know peace until they find and fit the outstanding puzzle piece to make it whole. So I encourage you to join this month and this year in our meditations and prayers for equality, freedom, and peace for Africa and the world at large, and all the light beings within. Let us be the change that we desire to see, the change that's been a long time coming, the change that shines a light on the true powers of Africa. Comment down below with some Black authored books or readings you'd recommend for the community at large. Also let me know your thoughts and feelings about the article for sure. Drop some quotes or lines of inspiration to everyone everywhere. Only love here. So until next time, let supreme love reign. For more info on our Just Read program for youth and children, see details in the description below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.